everybody. We're here in front of Ashwag Hall, and it's the 22nd annual studio tour here in the Springs. So let's take a look. Here with Tom Steele, the president of this Artists Alliance. Tom, welcome.
Hi. Welcome to our opening of our preview exhibition for the studio tour.
It's terrific, and everybody should take a look at this wonderful poster here, this insert. But it's a 22nd annual, so you keep doing it, and it gets better and better.
Every year it gets better and better, and every year we try something new. And one of the things we tried this year was that insert that you just showed, that we distributed in all the newspapers. And it's a really nice marketing material that really explains all about the studio tour. And one of the other new features this year is the preview exhibition where we're at right now.
Right, and also the thing is that people see the signs, and living here in the Springs myself, people, they kind of know about it too late, and then they try to barge in online, which is not a thing to do anywhere in the Hamptons. But how do they, since we have enough lead time, this is going to be on the air well before it actually takes place, how should one actually engage that they can sort of get the tickets and get the map and know what to do properly?
Yeah. Well, the studio tour is on July 12th, 13th, and 14th, and we have tickets available at the Artists Alliance office. I think we've got 8 retail outlets, and people can go to our website at www.artiststudiotour.org. And on our website, it lists all the retail outlets, which are all the Hampton stores, East End Books, Boltax Gallery, Hampton Photo Arts, Gone Local Gallery, and a few others, Golden Eagle. So there's plenty of places to buy tickets.
That's cool, the Golden Eagle. So you can go pick up a canvas, paints, and you can pick up a ticket.
Pick up a ticket, yes, exactly.
And basically, it's a pretty amazing thing that you actually enjoy the artists right in the studios that they're creating the work. So
yeah, that's one of the unique features about the studio tour is that you get to meet the artists in their studio. You get to see where they create, what they're doing. Normally, like when you go to a gallery, you'll see a finished product. It's a finished group of work. And when you go into an artist studio, they've got all different kinds of work in all kinds of state, all over the place. And the artist is there. You can talk to them. You can inquire about things. All the work is for sale. Most of it's for sale. Okay.
And again, everybody at home, it's July 12th, 13th, and 14th. I'm here with Ellen Dooley. Ellen, this is terrific, and this is your work.
Thank you. Yes, I paint in oils, so mostly portraits and faces.
Beautiful. Now, what was the inspiration for this one?
Actually, I do a series of political and social commentary in my faces. So the one before this was a screaming baby from a refugee camp in Baghdad. And then I went from that to the opposite extreme, American ideal of beauty. And I keep switching back and forth.
And this is, the title of this is Portrait Number 131.
Correct. It didn't really matter exactly who it was. It was more of just the expression of the painting.
Now, you're a resident of the Springs?
No, I live in East Hampton, not toward the village, and I'm back and forth. So.
And what is it about the area that stimulates your art?
The light, absolutely. A lot of the colors in the late day out here are in my paintings. The pinks, the rosy colors, the greens, and from painting to painting, it's always in that color range. And sometimes I get out of my car and just watch the colors of the sky and the light.
Although it's a portrait, it has almost a landscape feel to it. You should keep it up. It's terrific.
Thank you.
Very proud of you. Thank you. You're a courtroom artist. A lot of exciting cases you worked on.
I worked on all the big cases in New York City for the last 30 years, including Jean Harris and David Berkowitz and Martha Stewart, Robert Chambers, you name it.
Gotti?
Gotti, John Gotti.
That's terrific.
Big one.
It's a big one. You probably had to use a lot of dark colors when you did his caricature, no?
Well, he used to object to the evil way I portrayed him, actually. It's hard to draw somebody and not get your own feelings about them in the drawing. So I guess it came across.
And how are you trained doing that? How did you get?
There's no training for that. I just love to draw. So I've drawn since I was a child, and I can't stop drawing. And I guess I did fashion illustration for a while, and it made me very fast, which is #1 requirement. Get it done quickly, because it's on the air, same day. I say I love drawings, and you know, I don't want to just do what I see, because that's what I do all the time in the courtroom. So I'm looking to do something startling and different with the figure. And what I've done is take a drawing and separate pieces and manipulate them, and then use acrylic and charcoal and, you know, create a new drawing, a new piece of art from old drawings. These pieces aren't even necessarily drawn from the same picture. It might be an arm or leg from another picture.
And then you assemble them in this collage.
And I do. I've had an exhibition in the city at Bernard Meisel Gallery on 57th Street this year, and I came out with a book called The Art of Justice that's all about my 30 years as a courtroom artist. And Hampton has it. All the bookstores around here have it. And I'm going to be speaking at Allison's Restaurant about it, and also at the Sag Harbor Library and the Montauk Library in August.
Well, there's something powerful about the courtroom drawing that you don't really get from having a television camera in the courtroom, because you kind of digested in one image what was going on, which was pretty amazing. I'm here with Jim Hayden. Hi, Jim. What a beautiful work we're in front of.
Yeah.
And I see it's a silk, what is it?
Sumi.
Sumi ink on paper.
Yeah, well, it's traditional Japanese sumi painting. Was done with monochrome and then brushes, and then you develop a brush stroke. I do the same thing, but I make my own brushes. I just make them bigger and better.
And what do you use for the material for the brush?
Well, several different things. I can use foam, I can use fiber, I can use bristle like you have on regular brushes. It all depends. Each one is a little different. And,
how did you get into this?
Well, I work with oil-based paints. And when I do it inside in the studio, I do it on a big scale on glass.
The inspiration for this, I mean, it's a beautiful form. It has almost like the form of a flower, a petal of a flower.
Well, I've always been inclined to do things that flow. I grew up in the ocean, out here in Rockaway Beach and the other end of Long Island. And I've always been involved with vibrations. I used to put water in a tank, and I used to vibrate the water and take pictures of that. And then as I started to get into more painting, I started using liquids on glass, and I would flow and make them blow and move and things of that nature, trying to recapture spontaneity of things that are natural.
Wave action.
Wave action. So the less you see of me and the more you see of the medium, the better I like it. You know, and if it shows my hand, I usually throw it away. So that's it. Yeah.
Well, your hand is pretty good. You know, it's amazing. Beautiful, beautiful work.
I appreciate it.
And your training, how were you trained?
Oh, well, I was at the School of Visual Arts in New York. I have a master's degree, fine arts from University of Pennsylvania. And I was teaching at Pratt for a while, University of Hawaii, a few other places. But then my wife and I went into our own printing business for many years. And I've always been involved with the graphic arts and printing. And when I'm not doing this, the work that I do paint is with printing inks.
Now, if people want to stop by the studio, where is it located?
72 Copices Lane. It's here in the Springs. It's right at the foot of 3 Mile Harbor. It's the first, when you're coming up 3 Mile Harbor, it's the first right you can make after you get to the harbor.
Okay, check that one off. It's Jim Hayden, and you'll absolutely see Jim, and it's going to be a real experience, and you're a terrific guy, Jim. Well, this is Herb Levine. I could see why the New York Times said a superb artist with the guitar. It's unbelievable, unbelievable. And you're a local guy?
Yes, I live in Hampton Bays. I teach at Crossroads Music in East Hampton. And I've also taught at the Mannes College of Music. I also teach sociology at Suffolk Community College.
Terrific, terrific.
I paint too. So I'm
painting here?
no, but I will be in the tour in October.
Unbelievable. And if the people want to get in touch, you do lessons as well?
Yes, I do. Yeah, my cell number is 631-949-1377.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. You've added a beautiful atmosphere with your guitar, and it's terrific. We really appreciate it, Herb.
I'm happy to be here. It's great to be.
Thank you. Play on.
Okay.
I'm here with one of the greats, Norman Mercer. And Norman, it's unbelievable. What is a young fellow like you doing with such beautiful work here?
Well, you see, I'm in my infantile period now, but as I mature, I'll get better at it, I hope. Actually, I've been doing this material for not quite 30 years, just about a year less than 30 years.
Amazing. It is breathtaking. It looks liquid.
Well, what it is an acrylic polymer. The common name to the public is lucite or plexiglass. But it's all made in my own studio. I cast the resin and polymerize it. Otherwise, the commercial stuff will fade.
It's light sensitive.
So, yes.
So how do you keep it that it doesn't deteriorate?
I put a VVH, an ultraviolet inhibitor.
So it's stabilized.
Yes. And I've had pieces now for over 25 years in the outside, and it's held up very well.
But it is unbelievable. It is really a beautiful piece.
Well, thank you so much, Greg, and you're more than welcome to come by the studio, and let's hope that you feel that way about some of my other work.
Well, let's see the people at home, because part of this thing is how they can find you. So exactly where is your studio located?
You know, Main Street in East Hampton, south of the pond where the swans are, becomes Ocean Avenue, and that leads right to Main Beach. And my house is approximately 4 houses south of the traffic light there, and on the way to Main Beach.
So it's not the Ocean Avenue in Brooklyn. This is the one in East Hampton.
Right. Ocean Avenue in Brooklyn was pretty privileged also when I lived there.
Not much lucite, but it was pretty good. How do you get the luster, and without revealing any secrets, but in order to float those colors in there with something as temperamental as lucite, you must have the patience of a saint.
Well, it's a good question. I make my own pigments, my own dyes, because the commercial ones will not stand up. And you're welcome to come by the studio anytime, and I'll show you how we do it.
Norman, you're a gem. I think you're terrific. And I would encourage anybody on the studio tour to put Norman's name at the top, and you'll have a delightful opportunity to meet him, and you're a treasure, Norman. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Gregory.
I can't help but notice this beautiful, this is
Medal of Honor
from Austria.
from Austria for my civic work as well as my art. So,
That's beautiful. That's a lovely thing. It's a lovely thing.
they gave me a beautiful party at the Cultural Institute, the Austrian one, when they built it newly, so with a champagne soiree.
Ruth, let's talk about your art. You brought one piece here today, but people have the opportunity. This one was made at the Art Barge, right?
That's right. That's at the Art Barge. I love to paint at the Art Barge. The light is wonderful, and so is the vista. And I have an original way of painting. Nobody else is doing that. I use tapes instead of drawing, Sometimes I leave some of the tapes on and some I take off. You can see that it gives an extra dimension, an extra texture.
That's very unusual. And how did you develop that technique?
Just in my head.
It's amazing. Very inventive. Very inventive.
But then I have a daughter who is also an artist and a professor of art, and she insisted that I leave it on. I put it on, I may have taken it off, but this way I continued doing it, and it gives it a separate dimension to them and a spontaneity.
It's a beautiful piece. And if the viewers at home come on the tour, they can have the privilege of seeing you at your studio.
I'm looking forward. I'm staying with the Haydens, so we three show together.
So the Haydens, you can come by and see Ruth's work.
Absolutely. And I have a beautiful big studio room there, which they keep for me. I'm very lucky.
So what do you like most, skiing or painting?
I like the combination of both. I can't separate, because when I go skiing, I always have my paint stuff with me. But I can't always have the skis when I paint. So I have the summer and the winter season.
This event has an outstanding chair, a couple of tables also, but the chair that runs the whole thing is Rich McDonald. Yeah, Richard.
Right. Hardly the whole thing. I mean, this guy here, Mr. Tom Steele, did an awful lot, and there's a whole committee of people. Tom is probably the hardest working guy we have in the whole Artists Alliance.
He is amazing.
Yeah.
But you guys pull it together. It's the 22nd year.
22nd year, yep.
And you have groups of people going studio to studio, enjoying every artist.
Yeah.
What makes this the best thing on the East End, if not the world?
Well, you know, it's the East End. It's the whole it's the landscape itself, and you know, so many of these artist studios are about living out here and working out here. What they've seen, it's been this way for 150 years. That, you know, people have been coming out and painting.
Why so?
You know, it's the light, it's the landscape, and you know, you can, when you're on the tour, you actually kind of participate in that because you drive across the whole Hamptons. You go from Springs all the way to Southampton. So you see everything there is to see in this incredibly beautiful place. This picture is actually taken from a series of still photographs of studies of motion by Edward Muybridge. And a lot of artists over the last 100 years, they were taken, I think, this one was taken in 1889. A lot of artists have used them as source material. And what I did was I focused on each one of them and on individual frames, and then I actually broke them up. So I paint these pictures as individual sections. So what you see, this figure descending the stairs, is actually a series of abstract paintings. So if I can really show you what they look like, I paint them like this. This is how I do them. So when I actually will paint the picture this way. So when I study the work, I'm painting the picture upside down. So I'm working with an abstract picture. And it comes together as a very realistic painting.
Amazing.
It has a cool kind of feeling, I mean a coolness in terms of temperature, yeah. I'm not trying to get out there and push any specific vision. I kind of let the result occur.
And I like the idea of these individual cells. It almost looks like the pixels on a plasma TV, that you actually see an individual bit of information that comes together to form the whole.
Yeah, that's exactly right. This individual pieces of information coming together to form the whole. It's a strong reference back to in the Renaissance, a lot of the painters would they would create cartoons and on grids, so that they would paint the individual portion of the grid based on the studies that they did and then enlarge them. So the reference is actually pretty strong to that as well.
The Sistine Chapel was...
Yeah.
You know, he...
Well, no, and that's true, because my wife and I spent a good deal of the summer in Italy. So I've seen, and this is the direct reference here is actually Caravaggio. So,
Caravaggio, correct, right.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful work. And what inspired you to be an artist?
Oh, I couldn't help myself. I was an undergraduate at Yale 35 years ago, and my last year I took an art history course and picked up a pencil and drew a portrait of my girlfriend, and then I was done. So, yeah.
You have the painting, you have the girlfriend?
No, I have the drawing, I don't have the girlfriend. It's long ago.
She'll be forever young, right?
I guess so. I guess so.
I've spent over 30 years working in Japan with kabuki and sumo, and I've spent a lot of time with people who are covered with tattoos, but I wasn't allowed to draw them. So now, working with the nude figure, not only female but male too, I paint a nude and then I design and paint a tattoo on the figure. And some of them, I'm drawing the, no pun intended, but I'm drawing the images of the tattoo from my experience with the people who had these tattoos.
They have religious significance, don't they?
These don't.
They don't?
No, they do have significance. That's why I call them tattoos of devotion, but that's a long story. And if people want to come to my studio on the tour, I'll be happy to
save that. We're going to...
Hampton, Snake Hollow Road, right off Montauk Highway. It's very easy to find. We're on the map. You know, the map you get when you buy your ticket for the tour.
It's worth it.
And also, for people to know, I will be doing my quick drawings. I do quick portrait drawings, 5-6 minute drawings at the salsa dinner, or it's not a dinner, I'm sorry, but the salsa party next week, which is the second day of the tour, Friday night.
5-minute drawing.
5-minute drawings here at Ashwag Hall during our salsa party.
That's amazing. Terrific.
For a donation to the East Hampton Art Alliance.
Terrific.
Thank you.
We talked about digital art earlier, and here it is, right? You're in the middle of it, and using a computer to create art.
I've been doing it I was doing it before a lot of people even knew what it was about. So it was never about being cool for me. It was an absolute obsession and a passion. I've been a digital artist since 1986, starting with an IBM with 4 colors. And yet I really would say how I describe myself is I'm a classicist in new clothes because I love drawing and painting, and in some ways I feel we need to resurrect the rules and bring up the bar so much higher because really, and especially with these new tools, we can do a lot more and it's easier to do them, but the cream always rises to the top. And one thing that I'm really enjoying about doing these new pieces, these are actually drawn from the nude. I'm going over to these classes in Greenport and drawing from the nude, 20 years since I've done this. And I'm
How do you do an electronic tablet?
Yeah, I'm taking my Mac G4, plugging in, and I have a Wacom pen and stylus, and I'm drawing this. This is hand-drawn, so I emphasize that the artist makes the art. Digital tools are just the new contemporary palette of the day, and we need to talk about it because it really is a new revolution. But the artists make the art, and the artists will always make the art. And I'm sitting there drawing with this Mac G4, and because this is my medium, where others are taking their charcoal and grabbing for it physically and pressing down, I'm picking charcoal. I'm saying 50%. I'm doing all the layering, and I'm really almost working faster in a certain way than the other artists. But then I have to sit and save and wait for the computer to save at times and do things. But it's wonderful to be in that milieu where they're all using tools like oil paints and charcoal, and I'm using digital.
All right, now how do the people always address the issue of, yeah, but at least when I address the canvas, I feel the tension of the chalk going
I love
in.
the flatness. I'm about flat. Give me that zero space. There's nothing. It's a fascinating science that I'm working in this space and making thousands of layers in a zero space. It's mathematical. And that leads into the other works I'm doing too, which these are the drawings, sort of the underbelly and foundation of my
You're doing
work.
three-dimensional work?
Well, I'm doing these interactive pieces that I actually have a patent pending on called Diamondscapes, after my name. They're at diamondscapes.com. And D-I-M-O-N, not the jewel, but just like the jewel, a different kind. But they are interactive portraits of people, events, really anything that exists both on the wall as a multi-layered collage, like a movie in a moment, and then on the web, it's a website where you immerse further into the painting and watch it being developed. So it's a still life story that then it's sort of like when you put the headsets on at the Met and you're given access to a great work of art. This gives you access to enter into the piece as it's being developed over
So
time.
the viewers at home, if they go to your website, which is?
diamonscapes.com.
Okay, they can actually
Diamondscapes.com.
see a sample of this work that you just...
Oh yeah, there are 3 or 4 pieces up there now.
These works are called fleshscapes. They relate to landscapes. I'm doing very, very voluptuous figures because they have the rise and the fall of mountains and the textures of the same thing, the crevices of the human body and the face, and I'm fascinated. And I've done many landscapes in the past that were beautiful, but now the environment has taken over and we're dealing with a polluted, overpopulated situation.
Unbelievable. Her hair looks like it's like integrated. It does look like a landscape. Even the undulation of the flesh.
Yeah.
It's terrific.
Yeah, that's part of it. And I found a piece of collage outdoors. See this black stuff? A big black matted thing. I think it might be asbestos. Anyhow, I cut it up and I used it in a couple of my pictures.
It's terrific. So it's pastel on paper?
Mostly pastel and some paint.
How did you get started?
We had this wonderful, voluptuous model, and she was so comfortable with her body, and she was very heavy. And you know, the emphasis on being slim in this country is arduous, really, for people. So I had her come, and I took photos, and I did some pictures of her.
That's beautiful.
Got me started. Thank you. Thank you.
And if people at home wanted to stop by the studio, where exactly is it located on Shelter Island?
My studio is in Shelter Island. It's in Hilo Shores, and it's on the water, right near the...
Well, it's Janet Culbertson. Check it off on your ticket, and be sure to stop by and see her. It's terrific.
That you're doing this. Thank you.
Although it's raining out here, I'm with a fixture of Bridgehampton, Nova Mihai Papa, and it's an honor to have you. Your buildings and your beautiful sculptures have been a fixture here of the East End, and we're very proud to have you here. And we're standing before this beautiful sculpture, and thanks for being with us.
Oh, I'm very happy to be here and present one of my sculptures that is called the Bell.
The Bell.
And I said the bell represents, in fact, more than a bell. It's a way of saying the universe. In the sculpture, what I wanted to do was to get the round form of the universe, and I wanted on the surface of the sculpture to have a lot of galaxies, stars representing the totality of this cosmos, the totality of this cosmos in which we live.
You know, I saw this sculpture being driven by two women in town when it came out up here to the Springs. I says only Papa would have women drivers, two lovely ladies driving it up.
Yeah, one of the ladies is so courageous to drive one of these enormous trucks with a boom on top of it. So it's very graceful to see a woman driving such a big car with such a heavy sculpture.
How much does it weigh?
It's 1 ton.
1 ton. And it's for sale?
Yeah, the sculpture is for sale together with other sculpture that I have in my complex, which is on Millstone Road, and it's composed of 100 acres of sculpture park.
So this is a must-see. If you're on the tour, you can't miss it. There's a beautiful vegetable stand right nearby. Your neighbors are right there. But grab some fruit on the way out, but go in and take a look at the grounds are unbelievable, and your studio is incredible, and I think people are in for a treat.
There is a round house there also, and a sculpture to live in that should be really visited, the barrel shape. Something very, very unusual.
But
and
the tour is not in the barrel house. You have to go on to the grounds, right?
Yeah, the barrel house is at the 30 Millstone, and the entrance is at 60 Millstone. It's a huge place. It deserves to be visited because besides the sculpture that are in, it's a natural paradise.
It certainly is, and we're fortunate to have you. And thanks for being with us, and continued success. This piece is unbelievable. It's breathtaking. And so pay a visit, and thanks again for being with us. We're very honored.
We invite everyone to see. They will like the sensuality of the sculptures and also the spirituality of them with a touch of cosmic touch.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you very much. I encourage everybody to come down, enjoy it, and contact the artiststudiotour.org for tickets and information. Get your tickets early, map it out, and enjoy. It's really a delight.